Hello guys, girls, and future friends. This is Bella. We're going to find out who she is, what she represents, and why it matters to you. In 2007, Bella was unveiled to the public. Luckily, because she's a statue, she happens to have a plaque telling us exactly what she represents. Respect sex workers all over the world. Sex workers and prostitution do not mean the same thing. Sex workers has a very broad range of definitions, whereas prostitution is more the definition we'll be working on in this video. More importantly, the Oxford Dictionary definition. Practice or occupation of engaging in sexual activity with someone for payment. Bella, therefore, respects all sex workers from all backgrounds and all countries, including prostitution. Not all countries are the same when it comes to prostitution. Some have the occupation outlawed, while some places, such as the Netherlands, where I am now, have it legalized. What are the arguments for and against legalization? Sex is good. Well, yeah, studies show that it helps your immune system. There's medically nothing wrong with having sex. In fact, it's kept our species alive quite some time now. More jobs. The idea that legalizing a trade creates more jobs adds up. It makes sense. Prior to legalization, there was estimated to be around 25,000 prostitutes in the Netherlands. The total number of illegal prostitution in the Netherlands is assumed to have gone down. I say assumed because according to the Dutch government, no recent estimates are available for the number of prostitutes within the Netherlands. The most conclusive thing you can say for the jobs overall is that although they decrease in total, the few that remain seem to be in a safer environment. It's the oldest form of profession. No, anyone who knows their crash course history knows that it all starts with agriculture. So yes, forms of prostitution are quite old, but not the oldest. Crime increases. Well, not really though. I mean, not that it goes up, but it also doesn't go down. A slight decrease from 2000 to 2004. However, in recent years in Amsterdam, there's been a slight increase in crime. The problem here is that there isn't really one crime intrinsically associated with prostitution. Technically, we'll come back to this. Most crime seems to be affected by other issues. Another issue is I'm only talking about Amsterdam. To get a good average, you need to bring in other cities, countries, etc. When you do this, you find out that there is a small decrease in localized crime. However, it is difficult to connect this. Not a skilled profession. Like it comes from someone who's never really had good sex. But this argument is explaining is to a vehicle mechanic, for example, you can acquire skills in that profession to go on to other professions. There are some jobs that offer this skill range, whilst there are some jobs that don't offer this skill range. It's difficult to find any skill set that a prostitute may acquire that he or she can go on to develop in another career path. Found two good blogs that talk about this briefly, but nothing as solid as a skill really gets mentioned. Promotes oppression of women by hurting them physically and emotionally. Ignoring the fact that not all prostitutes are women, this is difficult to define because it's really subject to an individual, which brings us back to Bella. Bella looks strong, independent, and represents the common idea of a prostitute. However, if Bella did represent prostitutes from around the world, she wouldn't be very independent, and she also probably wouldn't be Dutch. Which brings us on to human trafficking. Stick with me for a sec, this part's a bit of a downer. Human trafficking is highly illegal, with 95% of sovereign states having it outlawed in some way, and the UN actively cracking down on it. To the United Nations, over half of victims are women, with 1/3 of the total also being children. You're thinking this is terrible, but what does this have to do with prostitution exactly? Over 50% of human trafficking victims are used for sexual exploitation. In a one-sentence explanation, illegal or legal prostitution does not affect human trafficking. However, human trafficking does affect prostitution. The majority of sex workers are not independent. It's not a choice, and even in legalized systems, there are still issues. Bella's strong stance and independence is a privilege experienced by few prostitutes around the world. Probably could have got a Twilight joke in there, but this is just far too depressing. But wait there. Look at where she is in this public square, right next to a kindergarten and a church. Placing Bella here forces the public to engage with the subject of prostitution, which is always the first step to solving the problem, finding out you have them. Why does this matter to you? Well, right now, right this very second, in your country, someone is paying to have sex, legally or illegally. Less prostitution, human trafficking, sex being good for you, or not a skilled profession. This video is not for prostitution or against prostitution. I simply want to raise the subject, and hopefully make it a bit less taboo by making you a little bit more informed. Thanks for watching.